It's February 3rd, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today in the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice. And man, it's just one of those days where you got to sit back under an orange tree, pick an orange, look up, and reflect. Because we're just in one of those markets now where it's crabby to down. I mean, nothing really seems to be going on. I mean, there's some good news that we'll be getting to in a couple minutes here. But at the end of the day, it's just one of those times where you're like, man, we just need to detach, relax, and realize what's actually important here in life. And of course, our portfolios and our MSTR shares going up in price is important in life, but that will come. So what else is important in life right now? Michael Saylor has acquired 855 Bitcoin for $75 million at 87,974 per Bitcoin. As of 2/1/2026, we hodl 713,502 Bitcoin acquired for $54 billion. That's 76,000 per Bitcoin. And then we have Terry says, many would think this is a fairly small buy, but it's all about consistency. MSTR has bought 41,000 Bitcoin so far this year. That's 1,242 Bitcoin daily. That's 40% of the weekly Bitcoin supply every day. Just think about that. MSTR, Strategy, Michael Saylor, Fong Lee, they are relentless. And Rohan says, business as usual. And as we just see here, going up, 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 as February 2nd, 855 more Bitcoin were acquired. And of course, they did ATM a lot more than that to pay all of the dividends. So if I know if you held any of the preferred stocks, Stretch, Strike, Strife, Stride, you got paid. Well, actually, I should say you didn't get paid with the quarterly ones. You're building up your payment. But if you own Stretch, you got paid. Because guess what? I got paid. And they are distributing that like a baller. And Dylan says, Infinity Fiat, 21 million Bitcoin. Which would you rather be on the side of? Infinity Fiat or a fixed scarce supply? Mark says, MSTR NAV is at 1.11. Hasn't been this high since December 17th. And you're bearish? As you can see, we had quite the little drop down all the way. You know, here's like about December 17th, right around here. It's the last time that the NAV was this high. Went into about a almost 2-month dip. And here we are seemingly breaking out of that just a little bit. Here we go. Mike says, it's not rocket science, folks. Wealthy people find assets irresistible. Poor people find liabilities irresistible. Choose wisely. What are you choosing? I'm obviously choosing assets all day, every day. And my assets look like Bitcoin, look like MSTR, look like the Treasury Titans. Adam says, crazy Bitcoin ownership trajectory here. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw MSTR plus IBIT with 1.5 million Bitcoin each within 2 years. That would be 14.2% of the entire terminal supply. Given the trend, it seems like a good idea to secure your slice of the network. And this is from a post from Bitcoin for Corporations. Insights. The gap between IBIT and MSTR Bitcoin holdings has collapsed to its narrowest point since April of 2024. The race to 1 million Bitcoin is on. And look at this. Boom. It's been a pretty good race. It looked like IBIT was widening it for a while back here. MSTR closed the gap. And now recently, MSTR has really, excuse me, been closing the gap. So we'll see what the future may bring. Joe says, one of the longest ISM manufacturing PMI contraction periods in U.S. history ended this morning with a breakout to 52.6, up 4.7 points from December. Past breakouts in 2013, 16, and 20 served as key catalysts for Bitcoin's major bull runs. This ends 26 consecutive months of contraction and signals the first expansion since early 2025. The ISM sub-indices paint an extremely optimistic picture. 1, new orders surged 9.7 points to 57.1. 2, production rose 5.2 points to 55.9. 3, backlogs of orders expanded 5.8 points to 51.6. 4, supplier deliveries increased 3.6 points to 54.4, reflecting rising demand pressure. 5, prices only edged up 0.5 points to 59.0, showing contained inflation signals. Historically, these PMI reversals mark the shift to risk-on conditions. This is good for Bitcoin. And I've been seeing this across every person that I know, like, trust, and respect. They're saying this is a great result. These PMI numbers, this ISM manufacturing PMI, this is incredible news for the both short, mid, and long-term outlook of where this market's going. So only time will tell, but sounds good to me. Now we're going to sit back, relax, as Michael Saylor is going to step up on stage and deliver a great chat when we get back from thanking our sponsors. When you want more, start your business with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms to help you launch and protect your business all in one place. Build your complete business identity with Northwest today. Northwest Registered Agent has been helping small business owners and entrepreneurs launch and grow businesses for nearly 30 years. They are the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S. with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your local laws and can help you and your business every step of the way. Build your business identity fast with resources, forms, and step-by-step guides even before creating an account. Sign up to manage your business hub with lawyer-drafted documents. Northwest is your one-stop resource, makes life easy, and keeps privacy automatic, never selling data anywhere. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free. Scams and identity theft do not start with hackers. They start with your personal data being easy to find online. Your home address, phone number, and employment history can be sitting on dozens of websites right now, waiting to be used for fake loans, targeted scams, or worse. That information is spread across people's search pages, shady directories, and commercial databases you've never even heard of. That's where Incogni comes in. Instead of spending hundreds of hours manually opting out of these sites, Incogni automates the entire process. They hunt down your data and demand its removal. Incogni doesn't just do this once. They continuously monitor these sites in the background to make sure your data doesn't reappear. I recommend the unlimited plan because when something isn't covered automatically, Incogni's custom removals feature lets you send in a specific link and a dedicated privacy expert takes care of the manual removal for you, start to finish. Remember, if they can't find you, they can't use your data against you. Take your data back risk-free with Incogni's 30-day money-back guarantee. Use code MSTR for 60% off an annual plan at incogni.com/MSTR. That's INCOGNI.com/MSTR.
Thank you. Nice to see all the orange ties and the orange hats and the orange tennis shoes and the orange shirts and the orange lanyards and the orange dresses. I definitely envy the women that can wear the bright orange dresses and the orange jumpsuits. I've been trying to figure out how to do an all orange suit that'll work for me. I'm still working on it, but get ready. So I'd like to talk about Bitcoin treasury companies, and I wanted to lay out, the basic principles. There's a lot of ignorant antagonists in the world, and they're like all snivelly, like, why would you want to buy a Bitcoin treasury company when you could buy the Bitcoin? And you hear that a lot. I mean, we're the first year, in my opinion, this is the first year in the launch of this business. If you got in more than 12 months ago, you were sort of ahead of ground zero. I would say the business really legitimized, took off November 5th, 2024. That's the point when you had the red sweep. That's the point when Bitcoin went from 60,000 to 95,000. Very quickly, what we saw was 12 cabinet members flipped pro-Bitcoin. The president flipped pro-Bitcoin. The Secretary of Treasury flipped pro-Bitcoin. and guidance from the SEC, the CFTC, the OCC, the FDIC, even the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, all flipped to unequivocally pro-Bitcoin. If you look at crypto policies with the mega banks, you know, the too big to fail banks, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, et cetera, they were constructed over the previous 4 years. In that environment, after the execution of Signature Bank and Silvergate, both of those were healthy banks that were destroyed by the previous administration due to their involvement in crypto. I think most large systemically important banks, most banks in general, adopted a policy out of an abundance of caution, and the result of those policies was so vague, it kind of meant that everyone in the industry was unbanked, you couldn't get credit, and those policies still remain, by the way. You could post $10 billion of collateral to those banks, you can't get a nickel loan today. Okay, so that's not because of government guidance. The government guidance is exactly the opposite over and over and over again. But the banking system of the Western world is uncramping itself, and it'll probably take 4 years for that to happen. And during that time frame, we're just in this epic of institutional adoption. You've got the right accounting, you've got the right guidance, you've got the right law, you've got the right tone at the top. And that just means large, risk-averse, bureaucratic organizations are going to take their time to work through it. But it's not like every single week I don't have a conversation with the president or the CEO of a bank or some other large financial organization where I point out that they're about to miss out on trillions of dollars of opportunities. And this is why the private bank, the commercial bank, the investment bank should get involved. If you have I couldn't have those conversations 4 years ago. Now we're going to have those conversations every day for the next 4 years. We're going to convince 10%, 20%. And so we're in this transition. I think there's two massive forces in the world today. There's digital intelligence, there's digital assets. And if you look at financial institutions around the world, what's amusing to me is you've got financial institutions that embrace digital intelligence, like my company. I sit down on a Saturday afternoon, I play with the AI, I design a security, I redesign the security, I design the security for the third time. The AI says it's never been done in the history of the world. I send it to the lawyers, they say it's never been done in the history of the world. I send it to the bankers, they say it's never been done in the history of the world. And then they come up with one little quibbling concern like, oh, there might be a fast pay issue and it's unsolvable. And then after 2-3 weeks of tradition, I go back to my AI and I say, is there a solution to the fast pay issue? And it says, yeah, make the liquidation preference floating. Okay, where's the floating liquidation preference come from in our prefs? It's because there's a fast pay issue in the prefs and you can't sell them above par without that floating liquidation preference. I could hire 10,000 lawyers and wait 10,000 years. I wouldn't get the answer. I got the answer in a few minutes from the AI because the AI has no prejudice. It has no inertia. Okay, that's a finance company that uses digital intelligence. What happens next is we print $6 billion of those. What happens without AI? We sell zero. Everyone says, well, what's the killer use case of AI? Well, maybe design a security and sell billions of dollars a month of it. That might, how many people do that? One. I'm sitting at a table with a lawyer that works for a mega multi-trillion-dollar financial organization. I said, do you use AI? No, our legal department won't let us use AI for security concerns. They don't want us to put confidential information into the AI. Okay. You literally have a set of megacorps that won't use digital intelligence for security concerns, and they basically make everybody that works for the company slow and stupid. And then you have another set of companies that use AI, and those people are smart and fast.
What's the second best? There is no second best.